Hello, hello, hello. Real Racing. Welcome to a new commentary. As we're just waiting for the lobby to begin and everyone to join in the lobby. But while we wait, please gather yourselves together for, as it's the Dutch Grand Prix, we're going to play the Dutch national anthem right now. That was the Dutch national anthem. Let me stop that. There we go. So, hello Devons, who won the Dutch Grand Prix back in retro racing on that league in F1 24 in a momentous win for him. There we go. So, yeah, momentous win for Devons, and he's putting W in the chat. And, yeah, we're going to get ready for the Dutch Grand Prix then. Short qualifying. Any predictions for today's race? As if you're on Twitch, you'll be able to chat and it will come up on screen. Unfortunately, YouTube, from what I can see or from what I'm seeing here, it's not letting me put the chat on screen, sadly. So I can only use the Twitch chat as the YouTube kind of puts it as a comment section. But I'll keep an eye on the YouTube ones and see if I can answer them if I catch them in time. But we have this incredible league today. As Devon saying the race was too easy. It was easy for you, but I don't think Synonym Venom and Exat Max and other drivers like that, I don't think they'll be saying the same thing after crashing and having chaos on the first lap. And I don't think Yusuf and it was the Jordan that he collided with on the VSC restart on the straight heading into the stadium section. It was absolutely carnage in retro racing. I would put it on the screen, but I'm afraid of it crashing, so I'm not going to do that yet. But yeah, I might do an edit where I put it up. But yeah, it was insane. But we are here for Cockpit Real Racing, and everyone in this league races in Cockpit Cam. So it's as close to real life as you can get. Limited assists, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just check that one. Yeah, no assists for any of the drivers today. And they're all racing with Cockpit. Oh, I think they're all meant to race in Cockpit Cam, but they've forgotten this one for today in the lobby. As you can see, it's a 36-lap race around the Dutch Grand Prix track, and it is in like the actual EA RaceNet stuff, so that's why you're seeing above Netherlands, you can see it says F1 Cockpit Real Racing Season 6. I don't know what 50-50 means, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we got a great race on our hands today, and hopefully we have a good one. So is Anvil ready to go? We're ready in about 19 seconds. I think we are about to go into the race now for Cockpit Real Racing for the Dutch Grand Prix around the Zandvoort track. Who will come out on top? So I'm going to move the light stream thing today because I realised in the last few streams for Slav Talk Racing that when I did that, it covered up the penalties, and that can be pretty vital in a race. So I'm going to put it down here for today to try and avoid it being in the way as much. I can't take it off fully because you have to pay for it to be taken off, which is a shame. But I am just going to leave it there for today and hope for the best. As you can see as well, there's an extra advertisement today for the Bonneville 1200 launch, shall I say. and that's because I'm going to that event tomorrow morning. So I'm going to be there filming, and I'm going to try and make some content out of it, talk to some people and things like that. Thank you very much, Abracadabra. Good luck to you too. So, Abracadabra, I think, I'm not too sure who he is in the lobby, but whichever driver he is, hopefully he does good. So, yeah, oh no, it's Abracadabra. Magical name, I must say so myself, as he's wishing all the drivers a magical good luck. Last time I commentated on a Dutch Grand Prix was the Late Breakers Club, but that was in Zandvoort Reverse. Whereas this is the normal way around, the Grand Prix way around this track. So also the mic might sound a little bit different today. I'm using my laptop internal mic rather than my headset mic today, as I just didn't want to set up the headset mic. So I'm using the internal, should I say, not eternal, as my controller stick drift is being lovely as ever. There we go, updater. So, top corner where it says PFM, but it's about to say one of the Williams drivers. That'll be Ricky Stanicki coming out of the pits. And as you can see in the top corner, it'll say their lap times and how much they're improving by and things like that. So keep an eye on that for this qualifying session, while also keeping an eye on that timing tower, who will be at the top, who will be at the bottom, and who will be somewhere in the middle here in this short qualifying session. It's heading round Shklovak corner. He touches the grass there. Oh, I'm having lag issues, which is great. Try and hopefully not have too many lag issues today, but my ping has been a little bit bad as of late on the game. One of the Red Bulls are out on track. Can't see which one it is though. It is AV. It said out lap for him, but I thought it said out lap to Ayrton Penner, my bad. As we have one of the V carbs out, and he's currently got an Alpine right behind him. So it's Frankie who's holding up. Yeah, it's Ganado, potentially. No, it's not. It's Forrest Jump who he's holding up. But meanwhile, Ricky Stanicki in P2. He had a bit of an up and down Belgium, I have to say, and then Hungary didn't really go that well for him. Heading around the Hugenholz corner and out over the hills of Zandvoort into that corner. He's looking for a little bit of redemption today. Let's see what he can do. There's a yellow flag, but that is just traffic management. It doesn't look like there's been any crashes. If there is a yellow flag, normally it's a dot that isn't moving that is the issue. We've just been riding aboard with the orange and blue Williams, the number 2 Williams, heading out over the straight into the stadium section, down the gears, round the Botch Stadium, out into the banking, down the gears, fly around the corner, elevate yourself sideways. I think it's a 30-degree banking. No, not 30-degree. I think it's 20-degree banking. As it's a 1:10.0 to set the benchmark time. Who will go up into P2 or P1? Big Campos starting lap. We have Avo coming over the line and setting pole position with a 1 minute 9.4, almost 6 tenths ahead of his nearest rival. Meanwhile, Vith Jalman over the line, and he's starting a lap, so that was a mistake by me. Meanwhile, one of the V cars are coming over the line. That will be Frankie, who was holding up holding up one of the Alpines earlier, and he's now half a second behind Ricky Stanicki in third, and to make that fourth, because Forrest Jump has jumped ahead of both the Williams and the V car, and gone ahead of his teammate, who has gone 2 tenths slower than the other Alpine. So Ganado and Forrest Jump second and third. Great stuff for the Alpine team in their championship fight with McLaren. And meanwhile, we have one of the V-Cubs going over the line. That's no Sabo starting a lap. We have one of the Salvers coming over the line. That will be Sig Pampos. No, it won't. It'll be Hanano starting a lap, but Sig Pampos is coming round to the line. And one of the Williams hits, the other Sauber goes over the line to P4 ahead of the Williams, a 1 minute 9, and he goes just under a tenth ahead of Ricky Stanicki in fourth place. A couple more drivers going over the line. It looks like Pierre Francesco, should I say, has had a pretty bad lap, a 1 minute 23.1. He might have backed off on his lap and tried to get ready for this lap instead, but he's currently P8 with a time amazingly off the pace compared to his rivals. Meanwhile, we have who else is coming up to the line? We have one of our Haas coming to the line. That will be Petrikhan. No, it won't. It will be no assists starting a lap. We have, I think that's one of the Alpines potentially. Diego, the sim driver, coming into the final two corners with right on board with the green helmet on that Williams, and he goes wide, keeps it on the island as No Sebo goes ahead of his teammate by 4/10 per second. What does Diego do? He goes to P9, a tenth behind Frankie in the green helmet. Meanwhile, he's ahead of the green car of Hanano, who's been up and down on form recently, but he is currently P12, and that is in comparison to Vith. Oh no, that's not Vith jump. Who just went up the order? Oh, it was Pierre Francesco who's gone, and is seasons ahead of Ricky Stanicki. Holy moly! What a things crashing. Tating can fix it, but from what I can tell, it's okay. But it's screen freezing a little bit, I have to say. So let me just check stream a second. Meanwhile, one of the Williams has gone off. Who is it? It might be Diego. It is, because that is the blue Williams that has gone off at that corner. Let's see what happens to. Well, Diego's coming back onto the track now, but there's an issue with him. He's now giving up. Meanwhile, Forrest Jump has gone to pole position, 2/10 faster. No, a tenth faster than his nearest rival. Hanano beats him with an astounding lap. I have to say so myself. A 1:8.7. That is incredible pace. What does Chris do? No, that's not Chris. That's Pierre Francesco coming into the pits. Where does the Mercedes of Valwood go then? He goes to P7 ahead of Pierre Francesco by 500ths of a second. Incredible. No, 300ths of a second, should I say. Incredible stuff. Sietten Penna goes a mere couple thousandths behind No Sebo. These gaps are very close here in Cockpit Real Racing. No assists, round the banking, on the final corner. Where did he put himself on the order? He goes on to 15th with a 1:11.8 on the board for him. As yeah, it's running smoothly, which is good. As we have heading round, who's coming up? That's Frankie coming up to the line, I think, potentially. Or am I wrong? I'm wrong, I think. No, it was Frankie, and he didn't go any faster. As also the gap between Petrikhan and the Diego the sim driver, wow, 9,000ths of a second separating them. These gaps are smaller than ants, I have to say myself. As we have one of the Ferraris coming to the line, that is Sietten Penna coming to the line, and coming into the pits. Meanwhile, Campos finishing an out lap. No assist. Don't know what happened there with no assist. That's lag. Never mind. That's not accurate to what the car's actually doing. As we have Dance near the bottom of the pile, coming out of the stadium section. He appears from behind the timing tower. We ride on board with the Aston Martin AMR 25 around the banking. He's going to be the first Aston Martin to set a lap. He goes very tight on the exit of the banking, but it puts him into a neat 16th place, and he goes a 10th behind. No assists in the Haas. Meanwhile, both B cars are coming to the line. What are they doing? Frankie on a lap and going no higher. He might have improved, but yeah, he's improved, but he hasn't gone any higher up. He's gone a mere 300th behind Sietten Penna. As meanwhile, Chris is not coming to the line. It's Pierre Francesco on the lap. I'm surprised Chris hasn't come out yet. Same goes for Ale Galostolo and Rexito and Japino in retrospect as well. As we have, oh wow, lag. This lag's gonna be a bit of an issue. So apologies in advance if if the cards are looking a little bit shaky. It might not be them. It might be just the internet being a bit strange. I'm gonna open the window actually 1 second, see if it improves it, which it normally does. Do that and then. Hopefully that improves the amount of lag. As I'm watching on Cockpit Real Racing, I think this is Sierton Penna, who I'm looking at on stream at the moment. And it is, he's having a look at his setup, and he's looking to go out soon. So currently in P11 at the moment, and in 10th behind Ricky Stanicki, but he's in the pit lane looking at his setup, just ready to go out again and hopefully set a better time. Pier Francesco has snuck up into seconds. Great lap by him, I have to say so myself. Meanwhile, Viz Jalman, his teammate's about to start a lap. Tig Pampos is about to end a lap. Let's see where this puts him. It looks like he's improving according to the telemetry in the top right-hand corner. And does he improve? He does. He goes to P7. He goes 4 tenths quicker, and he goes ahead of No Sebo. And he goes a lot closer to Avo as well. So hopefully that means he can do well in the midfield today. As Stephen Jones saying about his internet in the Breakers Club, never mind. We have Wanda Williams going over the line. It's nothing to worry about. We have Pier Francesco coming to the line again, but he's on an in-lap. We have Vith Jalman, who doesn't look like he's on an in-lap, unless I'm mistaken. As what has happened to my game? What's happened to this? It's saying game source offline, is it? It isn't. Every go to check it, it says offline. Oh no. That is a shame. So we've been disconnected. Not too sure as of to why. My internet ping has been awful at the moment. As we got an invite again to see if we can watch the rest of this race, but the internet ping here really hurting us. The weather's also really bad at the moment. Thank you to Sierton Penna for the invite again. So that really helps, but yeah, I'm really struggling with the internet at the moment, so I'm going to keep the door open to let the internet just get to my router quicker. But yeah, very bad ping at the moment for my connection. I'm going to close that window because I'm freezing. And we have about 5 minutes left of qualifying with some minor technical... What now? What's that? Yeah, really cold. Right. Here we go again then. For short qualifying in the Netherlands. Just hard at the drop. Right, there we go. That's it mode, yeah. I'm meant to be in that. So here we go. We're back. And better than ever. From what I can tell, is one of the Mercedes has just come out the pits without a front nose cone, I'm pretty sure. Lots of cars without front nose cones for me. Not too sure what that's about, but it's not the first time it's happened. Let me have a look. On the Aston Martin and the Ferrari. Yep, they both have no front nose cone for me. Unless it's come back, which it hasn't. So I'm not too sure what this is. But both the Aston Martin and the Ferrari both have no front nose cones. They are still warping out a little bit around the track. But also the Haas doesn't have a front nose cone. That's interesting to say the least. As let's hope that other cars have front nose cones. This one does, this one doesn't, this one does, this one does. This is like bingo, trying to work out which cars have front nose cones. I think they do have front wings, but it's just a visual glitch on the game, which is a bit sad. Meanwhile, when the Alpines coming into the pits, that is Forest Jump. We have the Nano also coming into the pits. We have one of the Aston Martins coming to the line. That is Dan over the line and going to P16 still. As there's been all sorts happening. There's been a disqualification for Diego the Sim driver for blocking the pit lane. There's been a 5-place grid penalty added on this. Let me check in Race Director. What on earth has happened here? So there's a grid penalty for Diego the Sim driver, and then he got disqualified as well for blocking the pit lane. I'm not too sure what happened there, but there's been carnage involving the Williams driver. Doesn't look like I can find what happened. I'm guessing he's just crashed in the pit entry and it's counted it as blocking. As well, there's 2 cars off, one of the Hasses and one of the Alpines going off nearly. That was very close to contact, and Ganado gets a penalty. And Ale Glowslow is retired. But what has happened there? Ganado gets a 5-place grid penalty for colliding with one of the Hasses. As that is absolute carnage for the pair of them. Valward coming out the pits. Meanwhile, Nicky, Seat and Penna now coming round. Ignore the fact that he doesn't have a front nose cone. That is just a visual glitch. He does have a front wing on at least his screen. But we come around the banking with Seat and Penna. Where can he put that Scuderia? He puts it no higher. No, he does. He puts it in P9. He puts it P9 and 700ths ahead of No Sabo and only one singular 100th behind Valwood. As he's 700ths behind, 7,000ths should I say, behind Valward. Incredible stuff. Also, a very tight gap between Forest Jump and Pier Francesco. Incredible stuff between the pair of them. Here comes Frankie then. Where does he go in all of this? Here comes Frankie from 12th to 8th in qualifying. The VCARB team are going to be very happy with that one. Meanwhile, Chris isn't on a lap. And I'm surprised about that one. Unless that's a quali ban I haven't heard of. Japina's out. Japina's retired from the session, so they must have had quali bans. As Frankie coming out of turn 3 after his incredible lap. We have in 5th place 5th Gelman really clobbering, should I say, that curb. Incredible stuff. As we have one of the Aston Martins pitting, we have one of the McLarens starting a lap. We have, oh, I think someone just went off in the background. I'm just seeing things. Meanwhile, we're going to stay on board with Ganado. No, we're not. We're going to go to Sig Pampos, who's coming round. That's head up at the moment. I'm just watching to see if the order changes with anyone going over the line or not. It doesn't look like it. So it looks like they were all on out laps. I think Vic Jalman's about to go up the order. He does. He goes to P3. Incredible stuff. And he goes a mere 400ths ahead of... No, he goes 3,000ths ahead of Pier Francesco as Ganado's out. And so is his teammate. So both Alpines retired together. Incredible stuff. As here comes Sig Pampos. He goes over the line. No higher for him. As what on earth has happened with Vic Jalman? He's been waiting for the Alpines to retire. As also Seat and Pedro retires. Lots of people going out in this last part of qualifying. Pier Francesco coming out of the final corner. Where can he put that papaya car of McLaren? He touches the grass on the inside and he backs out of the lap. So Pier Francesco on a flying lap, dives into the pits and abandons it. Meanwhile, here comes Ananos. Can he improve that pole position margin? Let's have a look. There's a yellow flag and Ricky Stanicki is out of the session. He starts his race from at least P12, definitely P12, unless Petrocam can set a better time. Here comes Hananos then, who isn't going to improve. Meanwhile, Petrocam coming out the final corner, he is not going to improve either. We have Viv Jalman, he's not improving either, it looks like. No, it isn't. Here comes Valwood, is he going to do a good lap? I'm not too sure. Here comes Sig Pampos as well. I think we're looking at the end of qualifying. We are, because Sig Pampos is not going to improve. He's already passed the 1 minute 9 margin. And now, Valwood, is he going to improve? I doubt it from there. So this looks to be the end of qualifying for the Dutch Grand Prix here in Cockpit Real Racing. As out of the final corner, he's going to go into the pits and make us wait until he gets rolled into the garage. But So the Mercedes cars 3rd and 7th, but it's a great qualifying for Sauber, it's a great qualifying for Alpine, and it's a semi-good qualifying for McLaren. But no Chris anywhere to be seen. Same thing goes for Red Bull, half good, half nowhere to be seen. The Haas is doing relatively good in the midfield, but the V-Carb drivers really have a good stronghold over the midfield. So let's see if they can build on that progress heading into the race in a moment's time. What an incredible session that was, I have to say so myself. So it's just under a tenth of a second separating pole position from Forrest Jump. And meanwhile, Vif Jalmin ahead of Pierre Francesco by 0.03 of a second. 0.03 of a second is also the same gap that separates Sig Pampos from the Mercedes in front of him of Alwood. As very tight gaps in qualifying here today. But we will now wait for the race to happen in a few moments' time. And it's raining. It's terrible conditions for the Dutch Grand Prix today. Absolutely dreadful conditions, reminiscent of 2023. I'm going to put my phone up. Oh no. Whatever. There we go. I can't put my phone up. I'll put it like that, hopefully. Probably not. Actually, if I put that a bit further back, probably rest it. Hopefully, as long as it doesn't slip. No, it doesn't. Cool. Right. Shut that door. A little bit. There we go. Put that way. There we go. Right, so I can put the thing in the background. Right. Getting ready for the formation lap. Here we go. Great. That felt. There we go. Right. It's a bit laggy there, but slowly. There we go. I can edit this out if I need to. Right. So we have Hernano on the everyone's going to be on the intermediate tyres for this wet start here in Cockpit Real Racing. Let's go down the grid. We have Hernanos on pole position in the Sauber, doing very well. Then comes Forrest Jump, who did a very good job last time out in the race in Hungary, fighting with Chris Racing in the McLaren today. Chris lines up 16th, but last time out in Hungary, Chris lined up, I think he lined up around 12th, and he still managed to challenge for the win in mixed conditions as well. So these are some of the hardest races to judge, because will the rain clear up? We don't know that in the commentary. The drivers will have a better understanding, as the teams will have radars for the drivers, and they'll have their engineers going over the radio saying that the track is going to dry soon, whereas us as commentator, from what we can see, it's going to be inches throughout the entire race. As game source saying it's going offline, I'm going to have to open. Heading out of blanking them. So apologies if there are any connection issues with the stream. But that I can't really help that at the moment. So. 5 lights come on, we will get ready to go for the incredible Dutch Grand Prix. Here we go. They're lining up on the grids. We're waiting for we're waiting for Japina to come to the line as Pierre Francesco gets disqualified from the formation lap in a bizarre time of event, and he is the only one to so far, as the last car to get onto the grid will be the Ferrari of G. Pinner, who starts just ahead of the disqualified Diego. Here we go then, 5 lights about to come on ahead of the drivers here in the Dutch Grand Prix. We are away, and it's a decent start for Hernano as he gets the jump over Forrest Jump. Meanwhile, Forrest jump to the inside, looking to take advantage, but doesn't at the moment. They are side by side heading into turn 2, the two leaders, as Valjamin just trying to stay ahead of Pierre Francesco, but Francesco sitting behind for the moment. But it is Hanano leading Forrest jump, the top 4 should I say, stay as they are, side by side between, as we're battling the midfield as well, not too sure who that's with. That's with Chris Racing, who's going up ahead of Ricky Stanicki, going from 16th to 13th in the start. What a start by the McLaren man. The Pro McLaren putting on a shining performance in the rain here today. Another great start by him. Meanwhile, further up the order, it looks like there could be battling somewhere in the pack. They all just squirm their way through, looking to make up places as they all go wide through through botch 10. There's the Red Bull now of Avo. He's looking for a move to get up into P4. The top 5 remain as they started here in Brazil. Meanwhile, Fiat and Pedder side by side. You can see that with the Red Bull of Alain Galoslo. But Penna is having to back out. That was one of the Alpines. That's Ganado going wide in the background out of the stadium section, as losing the car a little bit there is Alain Galoslo. That could be that, I'm not too sure. It's a 129.8. They are nearly 20 seconds slower than their best qualifying times. But Alain Galoslo currently slower than Seat and Penna, heading into turn 1, but out of turn 1, out of turn 1 corner, into the Hugenholz bowl. It's Penna behind the Red Bull. They were side by side a minute ago. I'm not too sure who was though. I must have missed that. We have Petrocan now looking for a move on No Sebo, who's under a lot of pressure. Meanwhile, Ratito and Ganado looks like he's gone down the order. He's lost a lot of places. He's been passed by Diego, by Ratito, and by Pinner. Meanwhile, Alain Galoslo getting passed by a Ferrari. Now look at that, that's Chris Racing side by side, going to get up into 12th place for the Chrome McLaren. Meanwhile, the blue and orange Williams car trying to see if he can capitalise off this. Meanwhile, the front 3 teams from 2024 F1 now battling here in 2026 in the 2025 cars. Round turn number 12. So into botch 13, round the outside. Oh, that's just lag again. Apologies for the bad connection. Meanwhile, the side-by-side action between Penny's teammate Japina, who did a great job in the last race. Meanwhile, Forrest Jump takes the lead from Hernanos. Incredible. But Hernanos comes back, but doesn't get the move on the exit of Tarzan corner. So the lead changes as Forrest Jump kicks the tail out for his Alpine there. That is incredible stuff. He hung onto it like Tarzan hanging onto a bramble. He swings through the jungle. Meanwhile, nearly side by side between the McLaren Pierre Francesco and the car ahead of him. Also, there was side by side because Chris has gone ahead of Seat and Penna. And the next car for him to tick off will be Sig Pampos is spinning there. That is no Sebo, I think that is. And it is. He's lost a lot of time now to Frankie after that near spin for the V-Carb driver. We'll keep an eye on him if he makes any more mistakes or if anyone else makes more mistakes. Meanwhile, someone else nearly making a mistake is Biff Jalman, trying to stay ahead of Pierre Francesco, as Francesco looking for the move, but he has to back out in the end, heading around the stadium section. Meanwhile, the Red Bull of Avo should I say, trying to make amends of this, as around the banking, slips for the Red Bull, but is it going to be enough to get close to the McLaren? Forrest Jump leads another lap here in the rain-affected Dutch Grand Prix. Meanwhile, there's the Somersault Chris is going ahead of the second Sauber. That's Sig Pampos. It now into 11th, so it's one Sauber in P2, another one in P11, and one Sauber ahead of one McLaren in top 5, but in the midfield, as Chris Racing gets ahead of Petrocam. Chris Racing playing this on easy mode, a bit like Max Verstappen in 2023 F1, and meanwhile Diego, the sim driver, losing ground, and he goes behind Ganado, and it looks like one of the Aston Martins are off. Dance has gone for a little tango just on the entry to Hugenholz, and he has lost his front wing. Drama for Aston Martin. One of them isn't in the points, but he's in 16th. The other one now doesn't have a front wing. Incredible stuff. There's a bit of image glitch in there on the stream from what I can see. As the lag starts to come in again. Please don't disconnect me. Struggling here internet-wise. I'm not too sure why. I think it could be the weather. Heading out of the last corner here in weather similar here in the Dutch Grand Prix, with the rain and the water and the moisture on this racetrack, making it very difficult for the drivers, as the rain here in my house is making it difficult for my internet to keep up with the disconnection earlier on. But here on lap 5 we have Chris Racing battling for 8th place, looking for at least 200 points in this race. Here on lap 5 he's gone from 16th to 9th, and if he makes this move he'll make it up into 8th place. He's going to be moving exit Hugenholz, but he doesn't get the traction. I think Pierre Francesco is looking for a move on Mercedes. He's right up close and he goes on some grass. No, he doesn't. That's lag. Never mind. Heading into Botch 9, Botch 10, Botch S's, should I say. Both McLarens in closing distance. But the connection making it very difficult to know if they've gone off or not. Dance is out of the session. That's for definite. He's in the pit lane, so there won't be any safety car, there won't be any stoppages in the race. It will just be a yellow flag, caution, there's someone just going back into the garage here. The Sauber here of St. Pampos holding up a bit of a train with Seat and Penner and Alega Loslo. As Hanano setting the fastest lap. This could be good for the Saubers to get the lead back. As meanwhile, side by side between Chris and Sebo. So Chris Racing gets ahead of Sebo. Meanwhile, Valwood gets passed by Frankie because he's gone for a trip into the gravel. Not great for Valwood. He's now losing a lot of time into holes. On the exit, is Curry going to get the move? He does. He gets the traction that he couldn't find last lap, and he now goes around, nearly going off into that little grass bit on the inside, but that's going wide there for the V-carb, just in the entry of that corner into Botch 8, into Botch 9, Botch S's of Botch 9 and Botch 10, as nearly off for the Sauber there. Meanwhile, there's Seat and Penner looking for a move on Alega Loslo. Rounds Botch 10, Loslo now has the momentum to keep on alongside the Ferrari. This is the battle for 12th place, but you would have thought it's the battle for the lead the way they're swapping places, as going wide is the Red Bull. Galoslo goes too deep and now is behind Penner, nearly behind Ricky Stanicki. All this battling in the midfield is absolutely great stuff to watch right now, as Stanicki not able to make the move on the struggling Red Bull. They all dip onto the inside to try and cool the tyres and cool the engine down. Keeping those wet tyres in good moisture, which will cool them down and make them more grippy. Heading out of Hugenholz is Chris Racing. He's trying to do his favourite move on the second V-carb for him to pass, but Frankie isn't going to be faced by that, just like no Sebo wasn't faced by it. So heading round into Botch 8, there's a gap on the inside and he's going to go for it. He dives in there like Tom Daly and takes the place in the wet in the Dutch race. Meanwhile, there's a big slalom of cars, all being led by No Sebo from P9 to P15 with various gaps. Wide for the V-car. That's No Sebo definitely going wide, that is a thing. So Sebo struggling, he's going a little bit, gets a little struggle there. He's having the car go loose on him. Meanwhile, Hanano goes to gets the fastest lap back from Forest Jump. As Chris Racing is now in clean air, so he might be able to do a fastest lap for himself as well. They'll go to the inside before turn 1 again, just to cool the tyres and the brakes down. So that, because the intermediates, they work in colder conditions. And Siet and Penno trying to do a good move on Sig Pampos. And is he going to do it? Yes, he does. Sig Pampos doesn't fight it that much, heading into Hugenholz. He keeps to the outside, and he just keeps ahead of the Red Bull for now. There's my game warping the cars a little bit there, as it got lost with where the cars were in this server. All technology stuff. But heading around the Williams there, getting very loose. I saw that, the Williams fishtailing as it headed into Sklavat corner, as now it looks like Siet and Penno is now having a little bit of a slide as well. They're all kicking the rear ends out here, as if they're in Formula Drift or the World Rally in Sweden. Heading round, we have the McLaren and the Mercedes. Excuse me. As meanwhile we have Francesco and Jalman now heading out of the banking. Is there a move made? The leaders are not swapping places. The podium positions are changing. It's the position for third. Who's going to get the move done? As Jalman holds it around the outside like Tarzan holds a rope. But they make contact heading into turn 2 and just into Hugenholz now. Great move there by Pier Francesco. As Petrocan now gets ahead, as there's 3 wide nearly. Further back, down the inside for Siet and Penno. Very opportunistic by the Italian as they head round Hugenholz. As now he's looking for the move on Petrocan's car off. That's Alain Galoslo off into the grass. Just in the exit of Hugenholz. Meanwhile, heading around down and into that corner. As they now go winding out round Botch 8 into the Botch S's of turn 9 and 10. As round they go into Botch 10, nearly a move made by Nocebo. Nothing done there. And now look at no assist. The Italian trying to get ahead of Ricky Stanicki. A lot of Italians in this league. Also a lot of people from various places like the UK and Holland as well. Dance, who's retired. This is his home race today. Chris Racing, who I believe is a Brit, setting the fastest lap in McLaren. Both McLarens now in the top 6. They are the highest constructor at the moment with P3 and P6. They will be scoring big for their constructors today. As the Alpines, the Salvers, the Mercedes are doing alright, but the McLarens really have a stronghold over the Alpines and the Salvers, as both McLarens, unlike the Sauber and the Alpine teams, both McLarens have their drivers in the points, both of them. So them and Mercedes, they're the only team to have both their drivers in the top 10. And the top 10, for those who don't know, they are the point-paying positions, which are very important for the championship and for winning the championship. In the driver's case and also the constructor's case, currently Alpine and McLaren are the big battle in the constructors' championship. But meanwhile, it doesn't stop the Sauber from potentially making a move into Tarzan corner, who's going to be leading on the exit of it. Here on lap 11, no move made by the Sauber. He backs out of it. Meanwhile, the other Sauber trying to make a move, but he's not going to make it stick. Here's the Sauber. Sauber, the hash, should I say, of no assist. It was the Italian going to make the move into the first corner of his 11th lap. No, he stays in 15th, but he goes a bit wide. I could lose him time compared to the Williams. Big train here of the V-car of Nocebo. Currently holding up to Campos, who in turn is currently holding up Alain Galoslo in the Red Bull. Meanwhile, as there's a switch for positions between Avo and Chris gets ahead of Avo, and McLaren are now both in the top 5. Both of them, so Pier Francesco otherwise known as PF, and GRR and CRR, Chris Racing. Now they're both in the top 5 and scoring big for them, their Woking-based team here today. As far as Jump takes the fastest lap, he stays in the lead for a little bit longer. As the track doesn't look like it's going to dry up soon. It does look like it's going to be wet for at least the first half of the race. As they head now around the last corner, is this Sauber in danger potentially? Because this could be one of the closest battles on track. That's excluding Certain Penna, the Italian in the Ferrari, trying to make a move on Petrocam but not getting it done. Here's a late Gallo slow, but he's also not going to make a move on the Sauber of St. Campos. Campos himself though going a little bit wide there, but doesn't look like he's going to make too much of a mistake for the Red Bull to get anywhere near a move heading into this flat corner. As Red Bull's closing, but I don't think it's enough. Within a tenth of each other, they just back out of it. A pair of them really getting close. Meanwhile, look at Chris Racing now, again, making moves. He's made the most moves in the race so far, and looking up there is Val Jalman. That working again? We head into. There we go. Right. Apologies for going mute. As I just have to fix my mic. As I cut off for a second there, so apologies for that. But as I was saying, the Toyota Haas, tried to get ahead of the Williams for 14th place, the closest battle on track according to the telemetry. But Galoslo is also getting very close to the back of Pampos, so keep an eye on that battle later on as they head through. As hopefully it doesn't. As we head through, we have, I think, Penna's trying to make a move on Valwood, and doing so as no assist finally ahead of the Nick. Great stuff between the pair of them. Sorry if my mic's cutting out. I'm not too sure what's going on today, but nothing seems to want to work. As here we are on lap 15. If it cuts off completely, I might have to stop the commentary, which will be a shame, but we head around to the back corner with the Ferrari. He's revving his engine, heading around botch 8 into botch 9 and the botch S's. As meanwhile we have Gallo slow, hitting the back of the Sauber nearly. As he now goes for the move into botch 10. Big send, bit of contact, bit of slide over the curb there. But not able to make the move for 12th place. It's very tricky to overtake around here, especially without DRS. It does make it a big challenge for the pair of them. Heading out of botch, heading out the stadium botch into the tilted botch of the banking. For those who don't know, botch in Dutch means corner or turn. So when I say botch this, botch that, I'm actually saying turn this, turn that, as Sig Pampos botches into the pits, or turns into the pits. There's great stuff there. Meanwhile, the Mercedes has lost the place to Certain Penna. Valwood now behind, and he spins. A caught onto the lane, but he has spun. And if this causes a safety car, this will be awful. There's no cars coming yet for Valwood. He's able to get turned around without any dramas. He's got one of the Hasses coming up behind him. But that is Valwood going from P9 to P12. That's 3 places lost for him. What a shame for the Mercedes man. Meanwhile, Ricky Stanicki, Sig Pampos, Diego the Sim driver, both Williams coming into the pits at the same time, as well as G Penna as well. So both Williams, the Ferrari and the Sauber all in for new intermediates. Is that the right strategy or is it not? Who knows? The McLarens are getting very close together though, as one of the Williams has spun. That could maybe not be the right strategy, as he's pitting for dries. He's gone for medium tyres, as I don't think his teammate has done the same thing. No, he hasn't. So he is the only man on dries, and he is looking like he is struggling, as immediately out of the third turn, he is now round and down in 18th. That is a struggling Williams there. We'll cut to him if he makes any more mistakes, but heading now round into the back corner. Round they go into turn 8. McLaren's getting very close. As meanwhile, there's a Red Bull and a V-Cab getting very close together. As it looks like no moves are going to be made as of yet. We're looking from the back of the V-Cab. The Red Bull looking for the move, not making it stick. Currently 9:30 UK time. Here on lap 17 of the Dutch Grand Prix for Cockpit Real Racing. Struggling with connection issues, but we are ploughing through to give you the broadcast for this race. As we are watching the battle between the V-Carb of Nosebo and Alenka Loslo in the Red Bull. So it's a V-Carb versus Red Bull situation. Ricky Stanicki pitting again to get off of those dry tyres. There's a yellow flag for one of the Saubers. It's not Hananos, it is Sig Pampos, who is on the intermediates and still spinning. Avo gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Drama for the Red Bull team here in Cockpit Real Racing. So that is the penalised Red Bull of Avo behind the McLaren of Chris Racing. Meanwhile, look at this battle between Penna and Frankie. Meanwhile, the Red Bulls are going to come out very close together as well. The V-Cab, who was battling the Red Bull a minute ago, now into the pits for fresh intermediate tyres. I thought they were hard tyres then. I had my heart in my throat for him. Meanwhile, heading round the downhill, there's battling between the Alpine and the Aston Martin, and that's the second Aston Martin off on the entry to Hugenholz. This time it's because of a collision with Ganardo, and he gets a penalty for corner cutting. As Ganardo there, aggressive with the number 11 Aston Martin. Incredible stuff between the pair of them. Meanwhile, out of botch 10, we get a good look at the Red Bull. Meanwhile, the leaders, as Forrest Jump gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. The Alpine team gets to the halfway point of the race, and their potential race-winning driver gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Let me put the Let me put the penalties on so you can see who has penalties. So this could clinch the race for Hananos, or maybe clinch the race for the McLarens if they have the pace. Meanwhile, Avo now clinching track position over Petrocam, or is he? Because Petrocam looking for the move again. They're going to come out just behind Vel Jalman as well. So this is going to be very close between the three of them. As Petrocam ahead of Avo, but not ahead of Val Jalman, or Viv Jalman should I say, as it's a bit for Valwood, who is Viv Jalman's teammate of Mercedes. As now the Red Bull of Alega Lowslow, no, it's not Alega Lowslow, Galoslow is here, behind his teammate Avo, who is looking for a move on no assists. No, not no assists. Petrocam, should I say? I'm getting the drivers mixed up. There's lots of people pitting as looking for the outside for Avo, but he's not able to get the move done. And now Galoslow having a bit of a slide, but he's now looking for the move. Both Red Bulls now in the points, which is great for them, but it depends if they need to pit or not. As down the inside for Avo, not making the move stick on Petrocam, as Petrocam in the Haas, the Toyota Haas, not being faced by it at all. Meanwhile, both Red Bull Ford cars, or Red Bull Honda cars should I say, for this year, now heading out over the banking. Chris Racing sets the fastest lap on those new intermediate tyres. Japina gets ahead of Rexito, and Petrocam goes into the pits for what should be intermediate tyres, fresh intermediate tyres. So Japina in the pits at the same... No, is that Penna in the pits? It is Penna. I thought it was Japina, but no, it is Sayed and Penna coming out of the pits on fresh intermediate tyres along with Petrocam. Where's no Sebo going to come out ahead in this battle? As he's going to come out just in between the pair of them in this little battle. This could get interesting between the pair of them. As Singh Pampos and no assists now battle. They're not pitting, but they are going to the inside. Now to the outside for Singh Pampos, who locks up massively, but keeps ahead of the Haas, two Ferrari customer cars, battling it out. The Toyota Haas versus what will become the Audi Sauber. As the Mercedes of Valwood. No, that's not Valwood, that's Viv Jalman behind Frankie in the V-car, who is having a stellar race at the moment as Gianfrancesco loses the lead to Forrest Jump because he's in the pits. Well, Forrest Jump, remember, has that 10-second penalty, and the gap between him and Chris Racing is 5.3 seconds. So Chris Racing will get the lead from Forrest Jump on aggregate. Meanwhile, in terms of track position, nearly 3 wide between the Racing Bulls, the Red Bulls, and the Mercedes. Incredible. So no Frankie losing 2 places in one corner. Avo getting ahead of Frankie, but remember that 10-second penalty exists. And Viv Jalman picking off the V-car with Frankie as well. And now he's looking to pull away from Avo and try and catch up to Gianfrancesco. Meanwhile, we have Hanano in the podium places, and yeah, currently within that gap between Forrest Jump and that 10-second penalty, as I think, yeah, so if Forrest Jump's penalty were to occur now with these gaps, he would come out P4 just ahead of Viv Jalman. So yeah, he could be off the podium at this rate. That would be incredible. This battle between the McLaren and the Sauber looks like it will hot up soon, as McLaren look for more constructors points against their Alpine rival. The battle for fourth place in 2022's Constructors Championship in real life F1 is now the battle for the lead of the championship and constructor standings for Cockpit Real Racing in this F1 league. The Red Bull of who's this Alega Lowslow into the pits, locking out there that we're darting because of the lag in the game, losing where Alega Lowslow's car was momentarily. That's where you saw it darting left and right. That wasn't LA, that was the game trying to find his car and where it was on the circuit. Meanwhile, Seattle Penna gets ahead of Alega Lowslow, as well as Nocebo and potentially even Petrocam. They're going to come out side by side here, and they do, just as Petrocam slots just ahead of Alega Lowslow, but Glowslow on the fresher tyres might be able to catch up. to Petrocam. Meanwhile, the Mercedes of Vif Jalman ahead of the penalty-stricken Avo, who would come out only in P7, as Sebastian Penna is over 13 seconds behind Frankie, let alone the 18 seconds behind Avo. So Penna has to do a lot of catching up if he wants to potentially now P7 from Avo with that penalty. Meanwhile, look at this battle. 3 cars separated by barely 2 seconds, maybe 3 seconds if we're lucky. But Aleix Goloslo getting a lot closer to Petrocam than Petrocam is able to get close to No Sebo. And this is the closest battle on track according to the telemetry. No penalties holding these drivers back. So it is all just foot to the floor. As meanwhile, over the curb and over the gravel there for Aleix Goloslo. I said it was foot to the floor, but it looks like it's floor to the curb. As the Red Bull struggling. He got beached on top of the curb and he just couldn't steer away from it until that curb ended. And that has lost him too much time compared to Petrocam and No Sebo as well to boot. Round Hugenholz for the half here. Heading up over the hill into the Splavak corner. Oh, going a little bit wide there for the Haas, but Petrocam looking for the move. Is he going to get it on his Viva Cash Out Racing Bulls car? That is ahead of him. No Sebo, the second of the V-Carbs, ahead of the best of the Toyota Haas cars. Meanwhile, the lower of the Red Bull cars is now watching this battle, looking for a move. He's going for it! Down the inside for Aleix Goloslo. Bits of contact between the pair of them. But the move is made. Great stuff by Aleix Goloslo here on lap 24 of the Grand Prix. And he's not done, because down the inside he makes contact with the V-Carb of No Sebo. Goloslo trying to take more eggs out of the basket than he can hold. Trying to chew off more than he can swallow in that regard. Looking for 9th place, and now he's under threat from Petrocam again as the 84 Toyota Haas car now looking for the move on the Red Bull Honda. And is he going to make that move to the inside for the Red Bull? He goes defensive. The Haas here looking to duck underneath, but he doesn't have the room to go through on the inside as Aleix Goloslo not giving him a whiff of a chance to get that points-paying position back. As Goloslo now looking to get past Sebo in the V-Cab. Meanwhile, further up the order, we have the other Red Bull of Avo fighting for track position against Vif Jalman. But of course, that 10-second penalty will drop him no lower, actually. As if we were to finish now, Frankie is dropped outside the 10-second mark, and he will now lose 6th place to Avo over aggregate. There's a battle between a Haas and a Williams. I'm not too sure who that is, and there's a yellow flag. Why? Not too sure as to why, if I'm honest. It looked like it just came up for no reason. As we have the Haas and Petrocam side by side again with the Red Bull. He goes to the inside, doesn't make the move. As meanwhile, the other Red Bull is currently in battle with the Mercedes and getting ahead. Avo up into 5th on track position, but that will be 6th when the penalties are applied for speeding in the pit lane. The other Red Bull of Aleix Goloslo, who went from fighting with Petrocam to now potentially making a move on the V-Guard, but not doing so. There's a swap of places between Ganado and Japina as there's contact between the Red Bull of Goloslo and No Sebo, and a bump pass is made by the Red Bull. The Italian gets ahead. Meanwhile, there's a yellow flag for nothing again. So just ignore that. Here's Petrocam, the closest battle on track between him and No Sebo. Barely 2 tenths separating them now as they head into the Splavak corner here in the Dutch Grand Prix. As there's a couple of close battles actually on track now developing between Japina and the Alpine, as well as Japina trying to hold up the Alpine. And then Diego, the sim driver, trying to stay within touching distance of the Haas with no assists as well. Vif Jalman trying to get track position ahead of Avo again. And we of course have this battle with Petrocam and No Sebo. As we have a look from the helicopter cam just after the stadium corners and round the final corners and the tilted Borch. otherwise known as the tilted turn. Or the banked botch, actually, that's a better name for it. As side by side with Japina and Ganado. Japina saying, no, I think I'll keep ahead of you because you have a penalty and I don't want to get held up behind you, as it looks like he has wing damage on that driver's right hand side. He has wing damage on that end play. And also, what's happened here? They have both let the Alpine through. So it looks like Japina struggling. Looks like he's coming into the pits because he's just let both the Alpine and the Williams go through. Absolute drama. No, they were being lapped. So Forrest Jump, the leader, was lapping Ganado and Japina. Japina, being nice, let both Alpines through and is now in 17th place, but because of that penalty, he is in 16th on aggregate if the race was to end here. Brexito gets a penalty for track limits. He comes into the pits from a set of tyres. As he retires from the session, both Aston Martins become the first DNFs of the Grand Prix here on lap 27 of the Dutch Grand Prix here in Cockpit Real Racing in this F1 League. We have the Haas and the Williams battling. So this is Diego, the sim driver, trying to get ahead on no assist, but not doing so. Meanwhile, the other Haas trying to stay within touching distance of Nosebo. That's Petrocam now on the wet stuff, trying to get ahead of Nosebo, not making it stick. Let's see if Diego is able to get any closer to the Haas of no assist. The Italian ahead of us in the Williams. Heading out onto the straight here, they both go for the water to keep the tyres and the brakes cool and keep them nice and moist. Japana's getting out of the way for someone, and indeed he is. He's getting out of the way of all the leaders, as currently with that 10-second penalty, I think Forrest Jump would be in P3, so we can keep the podium. Meanwhile, Diego nearly spins coming out of Huguenot. That was almost drama for him. Look at this battle between Petrocam and Nosebo. This is for 10th place, and 10th place is the lowest position you can have without losing points. So you can gain a point from 10th place. You can't get any points for 11th or lower. Meanwhile, one of the Ferraris has retired from the session. The other one is going for a move on the VCARB. It's Sayat and Penna versus Frankie 1811 into turn 1. Who's going to get the lead? Is it going to be the Milan-based Racing Bulls car, or is it going to be the Milano-based Ferrari? It is the Milano-based Ferrari of the Italian of Sayat and Penna getting ahead of Frankie. Meanwhile, we have coming out just got a Petrocam battling Frankie's teammate, as Petrocam now not able to make a move on the man in front of him. But yeah, Forrest Jump has now got that gap up compared to Chris Racing. He will get a podium now, as he has pulled the gap on Francesco, as Francesco isn't able to make a move, isn't able to get within that 10-second gap to get to nab the podium from the podium from the Alpine as I was finishing the sentence, but I had to stop as the Williams of Diego nearly stopped after a spin in that Williams car. But we're just bouncing between both half battles as one of the V-cubs are off. Is that a puncture? It is. Frankie, after having such a promising race in 6th place, has got a puncture on lap 28 in the wet. What an unlucky occurrence for him. He's now behind his teammate. Petrocam and Nosebo are now both in the points. What has happened puncture-wise for the number 67 V-Carb? He's got an absolutely shredded tyre. That tyre is as deflated as me in a winter. That is absolutely... that is such a shame for Frankie. He's trundling back to the pits now with a flat tyre. And what does this mean for the rest of the grid? Does this mean there's more punctures to come as he comes into the pits? He clouts the wall. What an absolute strange occurrence. I did not expect that. I saw a blue dot in the middle of nowhere. I thought it was lag at first, but no, it was. Petrocam having a dramatic spin. He now goes on to fresh new intermediate tyres with 6 laps to go. The rain. When the rain comes down, it pours for Frankie as his tyre goes, and he now goes from running in 6th to running in 16th. What an incredible twist, as now the only V-Carb in the points is battling the only Haas in the points. Petrocam versus Nosebo is now becoming a hotter battle than ever. For P9, to the inside for the two midfield runners. And a bit of wing damage there for Petrocam. And now look at Valward, he's getting in on the action. Sig Pampos as well isn't too far back. There's wing damage for the Haas on the driver's left-hand side. That number 64 Haas car struggling with end plate damage on that side wall of the front wing. That's going to affect the amount he can turn and the amount of grip he has and the amount of downforce he has, should I say, when turning into corners like here at Tarzan Bend. They're not able to make the move stick, but here's the Mercedes now ahead of the Sauber of Sig Pampos. This battle for P9 is hotting up. It went from a 2-car battle for P10 to now a 4-car battle potentially for P9. And none of them have penalties. None of them have to worry about being in a penalty gap. They just battle it out in pure racing now, as no assist comes out behind the leader as well. But meanwhile, no assist teammate Petrocam looking to close as Reki Stanicki gets a penalty for multiple warnings. Incredible stuff here in this Italian league. Here in the Dutch Grand Prix, we have 5 laps to go, and they look to be an incredible 5 laps indeed. As Chris now closing in on Forest Jump. Keep an eye on that map for any stopped or slowed down dots, as that could mean punctures. If that's what happened to Frankie, that could happen to other drivers as well. So as there's an Alpine off, Ganardo going wide. What has happened to him? Is that a puncture? Where is Ganardo? There he is. It's not a puncture, it's just him going off by himself. Meanwhile, here is Petrocam. Got right close to Nosebo while we were looking at Ganardo, but he didn't get the move done. He's doing the same thing he's done every lap, just get right up close behind him, not able to make a legitimate move without danger of a crash. But we have 17 people left with 4 laps to go here in the Dutch Grand Prix. One of the Williams in the pits. I believe that's Reki Stanicki, and I think it is Diego too far in front of... Oh no, it is. It's Diego, the sim driver, in the pits for the Williams team on fresh intermediate. So potentially he was within risk of a puncture, just decided to pit now and not have a Frankie situation. Speaking of Frankie, he's now come out behind him. Both Williams in last with 3-second penalties. Now chasing after Ganardo. Big lock up for the Haas of Petrocam, who now is playing the hunter and the hunted. He's hunting down Nosebo, but he is now being hunted by that Mercedes of Valward, who fancies making it a double Mercedes points paying positions. Double Mercedes top 10, should I say, as well. His teammate Vic Jalman is currently getting 5th on aggregate, but his teammate now, as long as his teammate gets ahead of Petrocam, he will get a point. But Haas also need points to stay with V-Carb in their constructors battle, as no matter what happens, the teams behind Williams and the teams behind Aston Martin as well, they're going to get a big help in the championship standings. In terms of the constructors, not too sure of the driver's standings. I haven't really got the information to give you on that one, but I believe Forrest Jump and Chris Racing are very high up. I believe the midfield battle between, let's just see, Sig Campos, oh no, that's Hanano lapping, no assists. Sig Campos is currently in this battle, or behind this battle should I say, between these two, or these three should I say, with Valward in the silver Mercedes, Petrocam in the Toyota Haas, and the white Racing Bulls of Nosebo in what used to be a Toro Rosso, the number 45 entry, ahead of the number 64 entry. Then comes the 75 car, who is able to get close. Nosebo has a lot of pace compared to Petrocam, and is just gapping him by around a tenth or two per lap, and that will be enough to keep Petrocam behind him. Meanwhile, Petrocam actually closing up in the corner, so maybe Petrocam has more straight line speed. No, what am I trying to say? He's got more cornering speed and more cornering downforce, but it is hurting him on the straight as he's not able to get close. But look at how close he gets into this section. After the amount of corners and the amount of downforce required, he's able to get right up close, but no Sebo able to pull away from him in the straighter and the faster sections of this Zandvoort track that require less downforce and less aero. But 3 cents separating them. I think if a move was to be made, it would have to be into turn 12. But he's got oh no, he got on the curb. He would have had a good run then, but he got on the curb, and it did hurt him a bit there into the stadium section. No move made by the Toyota Haas car. We're coming towards the final laps here in the Dutch Grand Prix for Cockpit Real Racing, and we are currently watching the closest battle on track. According to the telemetry, it's the battle for P9 between No Sabo and Petrocam. Here comes Petrocam. Is he able to make a move? He's very close this time round. Is it close enough? He goes for the move and he breaks his front wing and hits into the side of No Sabo. That is drama between the pair of them, as Sig Pampos now behind Valward, who's looking for a move on the damaged Petrocam. Petrocam now side by side with the salvage round. Sig Pampos going off, and now the Mercedes of Valward looking to make a move on the damaged. Oh, and contact again between Petrocam, this time with the Mercedes of Valward. Hard defending by Petrocam to hold up the Mercedes for as long as he possibly can in these last 2 laps. Desperation kicking in for the Toyota Haas versus the Mercedes, as the Petronas Mercedes now. Oh, contact again between Petrocam and the Mercedes. It's Toyota versus Mercedes, and the Mercedes forcing Petrocam off the track, and the Haas car limping home after contact. It's all kicking off here on the 35th lap of this Grand Prix. Everything kicking off. Meanwhile, it has to be said, where is Forrest Jump? Because he has lost a lot of time compared to Chris, compared to Hernano, compared to Pierre Francesco. That gap between Chris and Jump was about 7 seconds a mere couple laps ago. That's now close to 1.5 seconds. Chris is catching up. Also, Hernanos is catching up. So Forrest Jump is now going to lose the podium with that 10-second penalty here on the last lap. And he will now drop down to P4. That will mean both McLarens get onto the podium. So we're going to stay with Forrest Jump and Chris Racing. And what a race it's been by Chris Racing to go from 16th to now the aggregate race lead. He will take the win when we cross the line due to this penalty. Forrest Jump has done so well in this race, but it's all come and done under something that's more or less his own doing, as he passes the Haas of Petrocam, who we saw earlier, breaking his front wing, and we saw how that happened earlier on, as the Haas now getting in the way a little bit of Hernanos. But Forrest Jump, he's been great on pace. He had a great qualifying. He took the lead early on, but after pitting and picking up a penalty for illegally speeding in the pit lane, it's all gone wrong for Forrest Jump, who will go from P1 to P4 because of that 10-second penalty. What a race by the Alpine man. He will come across the line first, but Chris Racing will take the win for McLaren ahead of Hernanos in the Sauber. Then comes Pierre Francesco in P3 to make it a double podium for McLaren in the Dutch Grand Prix. And Forrest Jump will come home in P4. Avo comes across the line in P5, but will finish in P6 thanks to Vith Jalman staying within 10 seconds of the penalty-stricken Avo. Then it will be Seatin Penna, who has been holding off Ale Gloslow in that last lap, but Gloslow makes the mistake, and it will be the Italian of Seatin Penna, the owner of Cockpit Real Racing, who will come across the line in P7 ahead of Gloslow. What a race by this Italian-founded league. here in the Dutch Grand Prix. We're now waiting for No Sebo, who withstood the pressure of Petrocam, and Petrocam was the one who made the mistake, not No Sebo. What a drive of resilience and resistance by No Sebo. He will be the 9th person to finish this race in the pecking order. What a race by the V-Carb driver. Ignore the fact it says he's gone to P8, that is a glitch. Valward comes across the line in P10, or P11 should I say. Then comes the Sauber of Singh Pampos in P11. What a race here in the Dutch Grand Prix for Cockpit Real Racing. It's been a pleasure to commentate on and to watch this man, the vlogger himself, Chris Racing. It's great to see this man win again as he's surrounded by the Italians next to him. As Hernanos takes a big sigh of relief as he does get onto the second step of the podium alongside his Papaya fellows on the podium here in the Dutch Grand Prix. Cheers to that one, my friends. Great race. Thank you ever so much for watching the stream. Sorry it's a little bit, it had a lot of cutouts, but here we are then. Chris Racing taking most of the accolades from this race. That your race winner is also the man with the Driver of the Day award, also the man with the most overtakes, having started in 16th place. And he was also the cleanest driver as well. So, but the fastest lap did go to the unfortunate Forest Jump. Without that penalty, it would have been a hands-down win after a great drive in qualifying. As Hananos even saying, Forest, how have you let that happen? The Japanese man going from the lead to P4. Thank you all ever so much for watching this race, as you can catch me tomorrow. What am I doing tomorrow? I'm not too sure. I'm doing something on Saturday tomorrow. I think I'm doing a league called PSS. Oh, and I'm doing interviews. I forgot about that. So, yeah, let's do that now. Let me set up the interview here. Hello? Right. Let me change the text, because this isn't the starting soon bit, but I can't make another slide, so I'm just going to do something like this. Interviews. Exclamation mark. There we go. Right, that should look good. Right, and then, yep, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on phone, and I'm just going to play the interviews into the mic. So, yeah, what a race. Let me sort out the interviews to end the stream. Thank you ever so much for watching. Tomorrow I'm going to be at the, as you see, the Bonneville 1200 launch for Triumph. That's launching in my local area, so I will be able to be at that event, and I will be able to film and make. I'm going to try and make a film about it, talking about the Bonneville family, the Bonneville model family, should I say. It's also going to see the T20 and the T20 Black version as well tomorrow on Valentine's Day. As CS and Penna's calling me, I'm going to answer it in a mere second. Here we go. Hello, CS and Penna.
Yes, can you join for the interviews, please?
Yep. I am doing that now. Sorry, it took a minute to load. Interviews. Come on. There we go. I think it's that one. Hello. So,
yeah, you need to go downstairs. Commentary box.
My bad. There we go. Comes to the wrong place. Here we go. Right. Hello.
Here we
Hello.
go.
Hello. Great race from you all, and I guess we'll start off with Pier Francesco. What a drive to the podium, and yeah, just talk us through how you took that papaya from the bottom half of the top 5 to the podium in that incredible race.
Yeah, thanks. It was a good race. I think I could have done better in qualifying because I had a mistake in the last braking zone, the second to last corner, and that compromised my lap. So I could have easily started second. And then in the last push, you know, I just forgot to put new tires on. So I just decreased the fuel tank and forgot to change the tires. And
Oh no.
yeah, that actually was a turning point because I was stuck for the first 6 or 7, no pun intended, laps behind behind the time and the Mercedes. Uh, yeah, I was gapped
Yeah.
by Hernanos and the first jump of 5 seconds, and those were actually the 5 seconds that I was distant from at the end, because I finished about 5 or 6 seconds behind the winners,
Yeah.
first jump and Chris Sniper. Yeah, but it was actually not an easy race because we had to manage the tire overheating, and uh, this was the reason that led me to pit 2 or 3 laps later than the leaders, and I hoped it would pay off in the last part of the race. It did, but not for the win. But let's say this inherited podium is still sweet, so I will take that. It was a good race from everyone.
Yeah. Yep, I can back that one up. It was a great race by everyone. So coming on to the number one driver, I can't see the name. Damn it. But yeah, coming on to the number one driver with with the Minecraft profile picture. I can't see the name. There we go. It's it's Forrest. No, it's not. It's
Yeah,
Chris. It's Chris.
Joseph, I'm Chris Sniper, but it's me, Chris Sniper. But I'm seeing here on the chat in Discord, and apparently Forrest Jump is the winner because he has 10 seconds, but they got removed. I don't know for what reason,
Ah.
but I'm seeing there on the chat. So I'm the second one actually.
Oh
This point.
right. So
But also
did
there
not
is
know that.
Hernandez. That now he is third. So you should listen Hernandez first and then me at this point.
Well,
No, the first is Forest today.
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, that I didn't
What's
see
that?
that coming. I didn't see the penalty being taken off. So that's kind of flabbergasted me, I must say. But yeah. So yeah, I'll start with Hanano then. So taking the Sauber to P3, or which I thought was P2 at the start, but yeah, no, P3 in the end. Talk us through that battle with Forest Jump and how Chris came into the mix and put you behind in the end of that.
Yeah. The race was very tough. I didn't make much practice this week, and I was in trouble with my setup. I'm going to say sorry to Forest because I make a little mistake at the pit entry. I brake too late and push him over speed.
Oh.
In the pit, so the 10 seconds the 10 seconds is not fair for him. So I believe he win the race today, and I make normal race basically. I try to save the tires because here the left the rear left are very dangerous in the end of the race.
Frankie found
So
out.
I don't know what's going on with my position. I believe I'm going the 5, I don't know, with the penalty, but I do my best today.
Yeah, well, he did a great job, and yeah, well, I'm surprised to hear about the pit entry. I didn't realize about the contacts. Must have missed it, but yeah, no, incredible. So, but yeah, great race by you, great race by Pier Francesco, great race as well by the man who went from 16th to 2nd, overtaking 15 cars. Chris, what a race from you today. Talk us through that comeback drive and why did you put it on easy mode?
Hey, mate. Honestly, I always, when I get some quali bans, go really safe at the start because that's not my place. That's not my place, and there's no way, there's no actually, there's no chance on trying and going for risky moves. I just went really careful at the start. Then I tried to push and get the fastest people, like for example, Nanos and Pier Francisco. That they are here with us tonight. And what can I say? I'm a bit sad, honestly, that the penalty of Forest Jump was not real because that changed the way I saw the race because I was trying to manage the rear left because it was really hard to manage. The temperature were really high, and so I went for the tire management. But then I should have gone for a forest jump. Even though
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if I tried to push even more, maybe the tire could have exploded, and maybe I would just go into the wall.
Yeah, you could have joined.
So
You
I
might have
guess
joined the Frankie
it's okay
Club.
because I had a quali ban.
You might have joined the Frankie Club.
Yeah, I had a quali ban. So okay, it's great. It's great to go for P2 tonight, and that's it. I'm happy with it at this point.
Yeah. It was a spectacle to watch. It looked like I was watching like Lewis Hamilton in the Brazilian Grand Prix for 2021 or Max Verstappen on every Brazilian Grand Prix for like the last 3 years or something like that. Just a mental combat drive of just seeing the driver tick off drivers one by one. It was quite mental to watch, especially with the competitiveness of this league. Like, just take the battle with No Sabo and Petra as well. Really dicey and really aggressive. So the fact that you were just able to pick them off one by one was quite incredible to watch. But the one person you couldn't pick off was Forest Jump, your race winner, that I didn't realise until after the race. So, Forest Jump, talk us through your win and talk us through the incredible quality it had as well here in this rain affected race in Zandvoort.
Yeah, hello. Finally I won again. A bit surprised. I mean, I had to. I thought I had to remove the penalty first, but yeah, here I am. Yeah, quali was a bit of a shamble. Maybe I missed today my first pole position because I hit my teammate, and yeah, he got a penalty, and we both crashed. Yeah, quali. I'm happy with P2. Would have been P3 with ahead, but yeah. Yeah. The race, yeah. What should I say? Just make the tire not explode. Yeah. At the beginning, I passed Tananos. It was quite an easy pass, but I think he was managing the tire a bit, and I didn't realize I had to manage the tire till it was a bit too late already. Yeah.
Oh, no.
But he couldn't pass me, and then yeah, going into the pits, I was extra careful because when I practiced going into the pits, I got 10 seconds every time, and so I was extra careful. Yeah, and Hananos gave me a little push to go faster. Yeah, but it was a bit too fast. Yeah, I mean, unlucky for him if he wouldn't have if he wouldn't have pushed me into the pits, his front wing would have stayed on, and
Aye.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
Yeah, that is the art of
Happy to win
racing.
again.
That is the art of racing. But yeah, no, great first win
Yeah.
for you then. And yeah, great drive, I must say so myself. And yeah, massive condolences to Frankie. But I think this race is, being really tricky to manage tyres. I think Sergio Perez will be very proud of you all, as he's known for managing his tyres for incredibly long distances. So I think you've all earned a point in his book today. But yeah, I think that's it then for the interviews for the Dutch Grand Prix in Cockpit Real Racing, and that is the end of the stream as well for Cockpit Real Racing for the Dutch Grand Prix in the Netherlands. Thank you all ever so much for watching, and